Hi guys, welcome to a new tutorial. On a previous video, I showed you how to make a pivot table. Now I'm going to show you some ways in which you can format it so that it looks more beautiful. If you have questions, don't forget to leave a comment in the section below. You can also download the sample file in the description. Don't forget to like and to subscribe at the end if you like the video. So let's get started. Okay, so now that you know how to make a pivot table, I'm going to show you different ways to format it so that it is more easy to read. So the first thing that we need to do is to click on our pivot table. You can click on any point you want as long as it is on the pivot table, because after you do this, you can now see two different menus up here, the pivot table analyze and the design. So I'm going to click on design. And then you can see that I have three different sections. I have the layout, pivot table style options, and pivot table styles. So as you can see, my data is a little bit difficult to read because I have the country groups and the countries on the same column, on column G. But I want them to be separate. I want country group and countries to be on different columns. So on the layout section, I'm gonna click on report layout. And I'm gonna look for the option that says show in tabular form. So now, as you can see, now the country group appears on column G and the country is displayed on column H. Okay, so I can also change the report layout to be on an outline form. Okay, so it has a different look. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it on tabular form because I think this is one of the most useful ones. All right. So now I have my countries and country groups on different columns, and I have the totals on the rows and a grand total on the column K. So if I don't want the subtotals to be displayed in here, I can go to the layout section. I'm going to click on subtotals and I'm going to click on do not show subtotals. Okay, so I remove the subtotals and I have just country group, the country, and all of the data on my rows. And I have the grand total in column K and on this row down here. But I can also remove those, so I can go back to the layout section. I'm gonna click on grand totals and I can click any of these options. I can click off for rows and columns, and this will remove the totals on column K and on row 16. Or I could select on for rows and columns, which will not change everything as it is looking now. I can select on for rows only, and this will remove the row total. I'm just gonna have the grand total in here. Or I could also turn it on for columns only, so I can play around with my totals. Okay, I can also come back to the report layout, and I have two more options in here that says repeat all item labels. So what this is gonna do is that on column G, I'm gonna fill the blank spaces. For example, here, after Europe, I'm gonna put Europe here, here, and I'm gonna put North America on this cell, and South America also on this cell. So I'm gonna click it. And there we go. So this option is going to be very useful if, for example, I need to copy this data to a new workbook. Okay, so that's how you use the repeat all item labels. And if you don't want them, you can click here on do not repeat item labels. All right. Another thing that you can do is that you can insert a blank line after each of the country groups. So you can click here on blank rows, and you can click on insert blank line after each item. So now I have a blank line in here, here, and here, and also before the end. So I don't like this one, but it's just another option that you can use if it is easier for you to read your data on this structure. So I'm gonna click here on remove blank line, and there we go. Now we're gonna go to the pivot table style options, and you can see that you can change the row headers. If I uncheck this box, now my country groups are not in bold, so I'm gonna leave it as it was. Okay, I can do the same thing with the column headers. You can see that you can barely see them now. I'm just gonna leave it like that. You can change the rows so that they have different colors and it is easier for you to read them. And you can also do the same thing with the columns. Alright, so if you have more columns, one is going to be gray, the next one blank, gray, blank, so forth and so on. So you can do the combination that you like the most. So I'm going to uncheck this one and this one because I want to show you something else about pivot tables. So we're going to move to the pivot table styles, and I'm going to click in here. And as you can see, I have a different set of options and colors to make my pivot table more pretty. So you can select any design you want. For example, if I select this design, okay, the pivot table has a different look. Or I could select probably this one, okay, or I'm gonna select this one right here. It's pretty colorful. All right, or you can select any other design you want. So you have the freedom to choose any design you want. So these are some of the things that you can do to format your pivot tables. You can also apply different format using your regular format buttons that you have on the home menu. So if you want to change this cell so that it is bold, you can change it. And if you want this cell to be marked in yellow, you can do it. You can also apply conditional formatting to these cells. So there's a lot of things that you can do with your pivot table. And in different videos, I'm going to show you more things that you can do with your pivot tables. Alright guys, I hope that video was useful. If it was, please don't forget to leave a comment, to like, and to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything and you'll be motivating me to upload more tutorials for you. Also, don't forget that you can download the sample file in the description below. So, thanks again and see you next time!